Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your lovely host, Isaac, here. And the aftermath of the Raiders game, there's no point in me in just repeating myself about how bad the offense is. You already know really where my stance on that is. So we're going to go lean on something positive as far as the Vikings defense, and Brian Flores deserves major credit for the complete 180 of the defense that I've seen for like the last 3 years, 2020 to 2022. It was bad. The defense was really bad. So Brian Flores, absolute props to him. I appreciate it from him. As the Vikings defense, where it stands right now, they are ranked. They have the 10th best defense, overall defense, 311 yards allowed per game, 17 and a half points allowed, 4.9 average offensive yards a play, 40% third down conversion rate allowed, and 3.7 rushing yard attempts per game allowed. 2 touchdowns allowed per game. This defense by Brian Flores has absolutely been so fun to watch. They were so amazing because you can easily because now it's just where you can rely on the defense to get stops when they need it. Yes, they gave up that field goal. Yes, they gave up that touchdown, but that's not on Brian Flores. It is not on him. So I believe that it's not on Brian Flores. It was never on Brian Flores. He was just having the hand that was dealt to him, really. He's not the head coach. He's probably going to get a head coaching job, but otherwise, this Brian Flores defense has absolutely been phenomenal to watch, really. Against the Raiders, they only gave up 8 first downs, and when they pitched that shutout, the Raiders only got to midfield just once. And the offense was non-existent that game, but the defense did what they had to do. They're playing some of the best ball. And this defense right now that Brian Flores is setting up, this reminds me, okay, in 2017, the Mike Zimmer led Vikings in 2017 defensive vibes. That's what that's giving me because they're playing some of the best ball ever. If you take away the Chargers and the Eagles game, okay. But other than those 2 games, the defense has been lights out. For real, it has been. I mean, against some of the best offenses, maybe the Chiefs haven't been that good, but against good teams, against a lot of other teams, the the Vikings defense has done its jobs. Sure, it was not perfect, really. It wasn't perfect at all, but the last 3 games that against the Denver Broncos, against the Chicago Bears, and against the the Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland. They're from Vegas. We got to remember that. But in a lot of other games too, where the defense carried this team, which is the biggest reason why they are 7-6 right now. There are so many things, and this is also with lesser weapons than on offense than they had last year. Last year they had players such as Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter, Dalvin Tomlinson, Harrison Phillips, with Eric Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson, Cam Bynum, maybe Cam Dantzler here and there. That was more weapons, but with Ed Donatel running it, it was ranked almost dead last. And with this offense, you have a bunch of no names that nobody else is gonna know, but they are still still ranked 10th with Brian Flores. Imagine what in 2022 with that defense. Boy, it would be top 3 easily. And right now they are ranked top 10. I actually kind of had a hunch that Brian Flores was going to do a 180. If it was average, that's okay, but if it's top 10, it's a bonus. And guess what? Brian Flores is carrying this Vikings team straight up, and you got a lot of playmakers. Sorry that I'm sidetracking, by the way. I'm going all over the place. But there are a lot of playmakers that are just stepping up to the big time. I mean, basically, you got DJ Wonnum, you got Danielle Hunter being the best edge rushers ever, getting a sack a game, at least for both of them combined. You got Harrison Phillips, who's been okay this season. He hasn't had that great season like he did last year. I mean, you got some players filling in for Dean Lowry, who I would take over Dean Lowry. Sheldon Day, I mean, he was pretty good against the Bears, but I mean, he kind of had a silent day against the Raiders. Ugh, I can't think straight, but anyways, the Raiders. They are the Raiders still, and you got linebackers, no Jordan Hicks, Ivan Bates Jr., and you had to bring in Anthony Barr without Eric Kendricks. They are still making plays left and right. And the safeties, of course, they are the most probably elite. I would say the best unit on defense out there are the safety set, Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, and Josh Metellus. They are making at least 2 big plays per game. 2 big plays per game. And the cornerbacks, I mean, that's a mystery to me. I mean, there's just a lot of kind of miscommunication as far as I'm concerned with secondary, but besides all that, Brian Flores is absolutely coaching the best, probably the best defensive I've ever seen. Not the best defense I've ever seen, but at least the top 5 best defensive efforts I have ever seen as a Vikings fan. I mean, absolute bravo to Brian Flores and that defense for doing their job the best that they can. And to pitch a shutout for the entire game is really hard to do in the NFL. And Brian Flores did that. So bravo to him. Absolute bravo. And so also, I just hope that he's going to get a head coaching job. So I really hope this dude comes back to Minnesota to basically be a defensive coordinator, because it would absolutely suck if this dude. I know there are so many defensive coordinator candidates out there, but I would just love to see Brian Flores back in Minnesota, to be honest. But outside of that, also, basically, that's been the bottom line, is the defense has been carrying this team so far. I mean, it just sucks that there's not really complimentary football, really. There is not. With the offense, it's not really going anywhere. So, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you guys hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol.